quick disclaimer before we begin this video. This is not going to be like my usual videos. This is kind of more of a moist critical kind of base commentary video. Basically what I mean by that is it's just going to kind of be like, it's going to be more of me ranting, not really ranting, but just my own personal opinion and commentary on the object show formula. Is because, you know what I mean? Yeah, I just kind of want this to feel like more of a one-on-one thing between me and you guys who may be creating your own object shows. This is not going to have any, super fancy editing style, at least not for this video. Tomorrow's video will have a fancy editing style, but not this one. This one's just going to be kind of like a heart-to-heart thing for anyone who's watching me who wants to make their own show. Alright, let's get into it. This has been a topic that has been discussed within the object show community for a long time, but I kind of want to give my own personal take on it and just kind of recap it in this video. Now, the object show formula is getting kind of stale, and for those of you that are unaware of the object show formula, basically what it is it's kind of like the same cookie-cutter concept that most object shows go after when they are made. You know what I mean? Pretty short cast, competition. The host is usually an object, right? It's like sometimes it's a contestant vote or viewer vote. And there's a lot of generic aspects to that. But there's something else that I kind of want to talk about that might go along with this. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Most of the time, when you're making an object show, you're going to want it to succeed and stand out among the rest. At least, I think you might. Maybe you don't. But if you do, then this is kind of something that you have to keep in mind if you're going to be doing that. When you're making an object show and you want it to stand out, that's kind of the main thing. You have to make it unique, but not just any kind of unique, is because something can be unique in a bad way. Take Object Terror as an example. I mean, yeah, it wasn't like other object shows, but it wasn't really like other object shows. It wasn't really unique in a good way. It was kind of unique in a bad way. A lot of people disliked that show when it came out is because it had very violent scenes and weird scenes just within every episode. And considering the fact that most object shows in the community itself is directed towards children, pretty young children, you know what I mean? People obviously weren't happy about this. So, yeah, that show is unique, but it's not unique in a good way. It's bad. But, I'm talking about shows like One, or even Animatic Battle, if you want to use that as an example. Those shows stood out is because of how good they were. There was no show like One before, and there probably won't be a show like One in a long time. Wink, wink. And there isn't really a show with a host like Animatic Battles. I mean, the concept is pretty cool. It kind of brings you back to the early days of pre-split BFB, mainly with the animation style and the feel of the series. You know what I mean? Those shows stood out. You know what I mean? In the respective times that they were made, there weren't really a lot of other object shows like it. That's why so many people really, connected with those object shows. And that's another thing that I kind of want to talk about, is if you're going to make an object show, you kind of want it to connect with your audience for it to have a strong and healthy fan base. Basically what I mean by this is, you know what I mean? If you're going to make an object show, whether it be contestant vote or viewer vote, you kind of want to be able to connect with your audience on some kind of level to build a strong and healthy fan base. You want the characters, or you want your fans to be able to relate to the characters in the show, which kind of ties into having good personalities for each character. Most object shows nowadays kind of have bland, kind of stereotypical personalities that every other object show's had since the creation of Battle for Dream Island all the way back in 2010. These stereotypes were used from earlier shows like Total Drama Island, Survivor, all that stuff that came out in the 2000s. These stereotypes have been used, for a while, and they're even present still in current day object shows, which is fine, but there's a lot of object shows using this same formula. And if you want the characters to actually be able to stick out, then you kind of have to make them have interesting or unique personalities. You know what I mean? Maybe have a character be like, I don't know, very overprotective, but in an interesting way. You know what I mean? It might because something traumatizing happened to someone that they cared about, and they weren't, protective enough over them, and they could have avoided it. Granted, that might not be the best example, but still, you know what I mean? You can make a personality for a character, but you kind of have to go in depth with that personality, character development. And I think that's something that a lot of object shows kind of mess up on. The contestants are just kind of all the same. It's like they've been generated out of a factory. It's literally like they're NPCs. So it's like, okay, look, I'm watching this object show. It's pretty good, but it doesn't look that great. You know what I mean? The quality isn't that good. That's kind of another thing. But that really isn't as important, is because there's a lot of object shows that might not be the best quality visually, but the story and voice acting is really good. You know what I mean? You don't have to have the best assets or the best backgrounds or the best animation for an object show, especially when you're just starting out. It's not going to be that great. So that is completely fine. One thing that I do want to say is, though, don't try too hard to make your object show unique. You know what I mean? Overall, after all, it is an object show, There's a lot of stuff that might be present in other object shows that you might have added in your show. It isn't that big of a deal, you know what I mean? You can't try too hard to make your object show unique, but make it too complex to where it's hard to actually follow with the story. There aren't many object shows that are like this, though, to be fair, but there are definitely a few out there. But, yeah, I'm going to stop yapping for this video. That was just kind of it. This is going to be a little bit more of a shorter object show related video today. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. But that's all for now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Sorry, I had to cut myself off there. I just wanted to make a little bit of a post-video announcement. So I am making an object show, as you know. It's called NAOS, Not Another Object Show, or NAOS. Any way that you want to say it, you can say it, however you like. But I am making an object show called Not Another Object Show. Pretty cool name if you ask me. Probably not, but whatever. But basically what I'm trying to get at here is I'm going to use a lot of the tips that I'm telling you guys today in my own object show. You know what I mean? And if any of you want to know more tips on stuff like this, there are other videos out there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of videos that go over how to make an object show. I don't know if all of them really go over the writing aspect of it, but they still do. Then again, though, I will say this. A lot of this stuff doesn't have to apply to just object shows, right? It can apply to anything, really. But at the same time, right, when it comes to making a series, specifically an object show, because that's the main focus of this video, you kind of do have to get a couple of things right. Unless you're making a joke show, of course. But, then again, that is just the point. Honestly, making an object show, right, yeah, it's just kind of its own thing. I'm really just yapping here, but I'm trying to give a little bit of a moral message. I'm not the best at doing that. But if you're looking for any other videos to watch on how to make an object show, specifically the writing aspect of it, I recommend a video that the Cascade Collection made called 4 Mistakes Every Object Show Makes and How to Fix Them. This video will be linked in the description if you want to check it out yourself. It's probably a lot better made than mine, and it gives, it goes into more detail on tips on how to make an object show, or how to fix the mistakes that a lot of object shows make, and hopefully your show doesn't make these mistakes as well, because man, I really hope mine doesn't, and I'm going to make sure that it doesn't, is because, yeah. Alright, let me stop yapping. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.